Hey friends, it's Rosalind. Welcome back to our gardens and our tiny farm. Do you guys remember back in the middle of winter when we planted all of those jugs full of seeds and just set them outside using the winter sowing method? I don't know if you can see them right here beside the greenhouse. That is most of the jugs that we planted. There's right around 50 jugs that we planted together. And if you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the description so you can go back and see how we planted all of those seeds. But they've just been growing outside all of this time. Out of those 50 jugs, there's like 5 of them that didn't germinate, which is pretty amazing. It might be like maybe I didn't water them quite enough. Maybe I let the seeds dry out and that's maybe why they didn't germinate. But the sweet peas are just doing amazing. So we are going to open those jugs, check them out together today and get them snipped back. And then we are going to plant them into the landscape because a lot of you had asked to see how we transplant them, the winter sown seedlings, from the jugs on into the garden. But before we get to the sweet peas, this week we've had so much rain. I mean, it's been raining like hours at a time. So I haven't been able to bring you into the garden like I would have loved to, but we did have a couple pockets of sunshine where we just quickly came out into the garden and got some things done. So I just wanted to bring you into the garden and take a look. The roosters decided to chime in. So I wanted to just bring you into the garden and share some of the things that we have been working on because there's some wonderful projects that I can't wait to share with all of you. We thought it might look best to just continue the pea gravel on into this pathway. So we've been working on that this past week, and I wanted to share what this is looking like. You might remember that the pathway used to just come over here to the chicken coop, and this used to be grass. And Harley thought it would look best if we would extend the pathway on over to the gate that leads into the chicken's yard. And I am loving it. I would love to hear your thoughts on it, but I think it'll look a lot better as we continue turning all of this into pea gravel. The garden has been so torn up this spring. Ever since we added in the greenhouse, it's been becoming a total redesign of the cut flower garden. So I want to thank you for sticking with us through this time. So this week, Naveed came in and he just stained all of the railroad ties, which is making everything look a lot better. And we took out our arbor that used to be here over this little pathway that goes into the cut flower garden because we are adding in, I had shared this last week as well, we are adding in a picket fence that will completely back up the borders. So Harley has been working on that. He has added in a couple of the posts, but you can see how much further this bed is going to go in, which will give us more planting opportunity. There's probably about 2 feet between these posts. So the bed is going to deepen by 2 feet along the front side. In fact, there is the fence panels that Harley has been painting. Before we head over to get the sweet peas planted, I did want to share one daffodil with you because it is my absolute favorite and I wish that every garden would have this daffodil in it. It almost resembles a rose. This is called Gay Tabor daffodil. Also, this daffodil smells absolutely amazing. I wish I could share like a scratch and sniff through the screen for you guys. So this weekend we have our flower stand open for the first time. So I'm going to come through and cut all of the daffodils that are at this stage. They call it the gooseneck stage. Cut them like at the base. And then we are going to set them into brown paper bags, set them into the refrigerator without putting them into water, and you can dry store them like that for up to 2 weeks. And when you go to use them in cut flower arrangements, you'll just take them out of the refrigerator, out of that brown bag, and set them into water to rehydrate them. I had to take a break to quickly cut some daffodils, because with the sun peeking through, it makes the daffodils pop open quickly, and then we won't be able to use them in cut flower arrangements. But do you see the sweet peas back here popping out of the containers? Isn't that so exciting? They have grown like crazy. So I did want to mention, um, so we had planted the seeds probably early to mid-February, and then I set them in our unheated garage in a window until they sprouted, so they don't rot. Because if the seeds do get too cold and they're too wet, the seeds can rot. So we germinated them in our unheated garage in a window, and then I set them outside. But whenever the temperatures went down below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, I would set them into the greenhouse just to give them a tiny bit of extra protection. And they have, I don't know, they have loved their life in these containers. But I have never let them grow in containers for so long. Albert Blue is one of them that we are going to be planting today. So I don't know, like usually first week in April, I will transplant the seedlings from the containers into the garden. And we are about 2 weeks behind from what we normally, or when we normally plant them into the garden. But look at this. Oh my goodness. So hopefully their roots will be okay with us transplanting them so late, because they do have quite an extensive root system. But let's get these trimmed back and taken out of the containers. We brought the sweet peas into the greenhouse to snip them back before we transplant them out into the garden. But I wanted to show you what the Albert Blue sweet peas look like. If you don't have this book and you want to grow sweet peas, highly recommend getting this book in your garden book library. But this is what Albert Blue sweet peas look like. And in her book, Marin says that Albert Blue sweet peas make a very good, like just a sweet pea to grow in the garden, to enjoy its scent. I believe they can also be used as a cut flower, but we are just mainly going to grow it out in the cut flower garden landscape border to just enjoy their scent this summer. Okay, let's get these cut back just a little bit right above a leaf node to help them branch out a little bit more once they're planted into the landscape. Actually, kind of a satisfying job. Last week, I did stop at an antique garage sale and found this old antique cabinet to just have out here in the greenhouse. We're going to be filling it with like vases and containers, pots, whatever we might need out here in the greenhouse. But I'm just imagining this top decorated for Christmas. Like, isn't that so pretty? Can't you just imagine greenery over that? We're going to plant the sweet peas on the obelisk that Harley built last spring. And the other obelisk is over here closer to the greenhouse. What do you think, friends? Do you think those Albert Blue sweet peas will look okay climbing up these obelisks? I think the scent will be pretty, at least. Okay, I might be overthinking this a little bit, but as I was thinking about the Albert Blue on that soft green of the obelisk, I thought maybe Joyce Stanton would actually look better on the obelisk, since these have more of a purple color. Which variety would you go with? Let's go ahead and take the first one out, see what the roots look like. Because I know sweet peas don't like having their roots really messed with. Okay, not too bad. Do you see those roots? They're actually looking, that wasn't supposed to happen. They're actually looking very good. They're not as deep as I was afraid they would be, so they'll be perfect for transplanting. If you have grown sweet peas before, you know that they are very heavy feeders. So in the bottom of each planting hole, we're going to give the sweet peas slow release fertilizer and just a little bit of compost to hopefully get those roots, or give those roots all the nutrition that they need. Generally, sweet peas like to be planted about 4 inches apart. But I thought, I wonder if we could maybe plant one on the outside and one on the inside of each leg. We're going to give it a try, kind of experiment with it and see how it turns out later this spring and summer. All right, Here goes our little sweet pea seedling. Well, friends, it's looking like rain. And we only got this one obelisk planted. This one has the Joyce Stanton on it. But here's what I'm thinking. I would like to plant the hyacinth sweet peas on here since those are kind of like a creamish lavender color. I think that would be very striking against this obelisk. What do you think? And then we could have the Joyce Stanton sweet peas growing on this obelisk with, it's just got the natural wood color to it. Unfortunately, I think that's all the sweet peas we're going to get planted today. As far as the sweet peas that we did get planted today, I'll continue keeping you updated on how they are doing throughout this season because you'll get to experiment with me. This is the longest that I have kept them in their containers. So hopefully they will be okay with their transplant. I think I still have 4 containers of the Spencer sweet pea variety, and those we are going to be using for cut flower growth this season. So if you have ever grown like the Spencer series sweet peas, or if you have grown sweet peas for cut flower growth, I would love to hear like how you have grown them. I'm thinking about having them on cattle panels. But if you have something different that you have grown it on successfully, I would love to hear about it. But I'm going to end the video, just bring you along as we open the flower stand for the first time this season, especially for those of you who aren't local. So you get to experience it a little bit because I don't know, flowers are just, they're life.